Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, Mr. Dedi and my friend. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Citra Ismalia and I'm sixth semester education student at STBA Cipto Hadi Pranoto. Now I'd like to tell a storytelling about the bitter tongue and the four eyes. Once upon a time, somewhere around South Sumatra, in a place called Banding Agung, there lived two mighty warriors. They were quite famous and well respected by the people around Banding Agung, including their contenders. They were notably called as the bitter tongue and the four eyes. One day, the bitter tongue came to meet the four eyes. He declared with all his might, "Oh, the four eyes, I've heard the hearsay about what a great warrior you are, but I believe that you are still on my lineage," said the bitter tongue confidently. Feeling discouraged by the bitter tongue's arrogant declaration, the four eyes rested not less arrogant. I don't know what you're talking about. Who do you think you are? Do you think that you're the greatest of all? Then you don't know me, my friend? What about you, though? To prove which one is the greatest once for all, tried the four eyes. Feeling his pride a little shattered, the bitter tongue said, "All right, I will accept the challenge. You and me must lay down under the clump of palm tree. Then it will be trained. The one who can dodge the palm is the winner," he replied. Upon hearing his challenge answered by the bitter tongue, they then decided the appropriate time and place for their duel. Day after day, night after night, the time of duel had finally arrived. It was the four eyes who took the first turn. He was not called as the four eyes for nothing. It was indeed a very amicable alias for him, as he does have four eyes in his head, two eyes in his face, and two more at the back of his head. The bitter tongue climbed the palm tree skillfully and succeeded in trimming the palm sugar. Meanwhile, the four eyes faced down below the clump of the palm tree. By the help of his eyes at the back of his head, he succeeded in dogging the palm sugar which had been cut by the bitter tongue beforehand. He was safe and sound at last. Then here come time for the four eyes to climb up the palm tree. He did it with great agility, not less skillful than the bitter tongue. Meanwhile, it was the time for the bitter tongue to lay down under the palm tree, just like what the four eyes had done before. Upon reaching the top of the palm tree, the four eyes thinned down the palm sugar and it fell right away. The bitter tongue, who didn't know that the palm sugar had been cut by his contender, kept on facing down under the palm tree. Therefore, his body was straggly hit by the palm sugar. He died instantly. Seeing his contender lie down on the ground, did the four eyes smiled with the great satisfaction radiated through his face. The bitter tone was indeed just like what he had been expected before. That man wasn't as great as the rumor said he would be. He was more certain that he himself was still the greatest warrior of all, no matter how strong his contenders could be. They would still be out of his league. You think you are that good, huh? You are nothing but a hersey, said the four-eyes the bitter Tom did, but in spite of the fact that he won the challenge, the four eyes was still wondering about what was behind the bitter Tom eyes. The four eyes frowned. But why was he called as the bitter Tom? Was it because he really had a bitter tongue or what? He wondered to himself. Out of curiosity, the four eyes approached his contenders did, but after that, he opened the bitter tongue's mouth as the four eyes looked over his mouth closely. He was surprised. There was nothing special with his mouth. It was different than what he had imagined before. He thought that there would be something different with how it looked like, but it was ordinary as any man would have. Wait a second, was it really bitter? The four eyes wondered and ended up touching the bitter tongue with his index finger. He liked the finger which had touched the tongue fearlessly, without any suspicion whatsoever. It was indescribable bitter, he whispered to himself. Unfortunately, he never knew that this particular lick would become the disaster for his own life. The bitter taste coming out of the tongue was in fact a very deadly poison contained inside the bitter tongue saliva. It was extremely bitter and deadly that he killed the four eyes not long after his history. The four eyes fell down the ground not too far from the bitter tongue, dead but considering the fact that two of the most powerful warriors even now in Banding Agung were both dead. There were no other great warriors ever appears again in that region, at least not as great as the four eyes and the bitter tongue. In spite of the fact that they both had amazing skill and power to be called as the great warriors, they did due to one very particular mistake, a mistake which considered petty by most people. Their own vanity, the bitter tongue, who felt like he was the great warrior of all, and no one could ever surpass his greatness as a warrior. And the four eyes for underestimating his contenders, even though his contenders was already dead. Their body were buried near the edge of Danau, in which it was known as one of the most popular tourist destinations in Indonesia, with a breathtaking view and the richness of this culture, including the legend about the bitter tongue and the four eyes. Thank you.
Thank you.